In this module, we'll continue to learn how the social identity theory helps us understand leadership effectiveness, including how it relates to research and theory related to norms and groups. This part of the identity leadership model has a few labels. The chapter in the book gives the impression the focus is on what the leader does for the group, specifically being a champion of the group. In the article I've mentioned, they refer to identity advancement. After thinking about it for a while, it's interesting to note that many of the ideas in this chapter can be applied independently from the ideas about being one of us in the previous chapter. In other words, someone can champion the group without being prototypical, and someone can be prototypical without championing the group. When they do converge, though, it allows for identity leadership. But what exactly does a leader need to do to be fair? And that's a trickier question than it seems like it should be. It's pretty clear that the leader should not do things that make it seem like they're receiving unequal benefit. But it's trickier to know how to be fair to members of the group. Each individual view of what is fair is often influenced by their self-interest. Definitions of fairness are also complicated by different views of the group and the outgroup. This might be a good time to point out, though, that none of the labels used for this part of the model actually use the word fairness. Being fair is just one way a leader can champion the group. What fairness means will depend on the norms and values of the group. It's possible that fairness might not come into play, or that it will take a very different form than suggested by the discussions in the text. Advancing the group's identity may not mean that the outgroup is minimized or treated unfairly. The group's shared identity, the commonality that leads the individuals to come together to be a group, will influence the leader behaviors necessary to be effective. That means effectiveness requires different behaviors in each group, with the common theme of promoting the group. This is a good time, then, to think about what we know about the norms that will influence what a leader needs to do to be effective. Norms are not rules or laws. They're often established by the group without a direct statement or discussion. They help guiding behavior and making social interactions more predictable. They're also relatively stable over time, so some aspects of a group might change as the social context changes, but the norms are not likely going to change. In the group dynamics text, Forsyth talks about how Sharif's autokinetic studies contribute to our understanding of norms. As you read that material, you can consider how that can be applied to understand effective leadership in the social identity model. How would it influence the social identity of the group if a norm is being developed? How does the transmission influence leadership? Similarly, the idea of pluralistic ignorance can have a number of implications for championing the group, as well as the last part of the model we'll discuss, being entrepreneurs of identity. This model, then, relates to the goal of being able to explain how social identity theory helps understand effective leadership. It contributes to that goal by helping us understand what we know about the behavior of effective leaders, including the importance of promoting the interests of the group and being fair. At the same time, what's effective will depend on the group's identity, which is reflected in the group norms.